The phone trembles in Mia's hand, its screen illuminating her face in the darkness of her apartment. Her finger hovers over the green button, hesitating. 3 years of silence, of questions, of nightmares, all about to end with a single touch. The app interface is sleek, minimalist, echo call reconnect with lost voices. Below it, her mother's name, Catherine Wells. Status, ready. Mia takes a deep breath, closes her eyes, and presses call. Some calls were never meant to be answered, but if you've made it this far, maybe there's someone you still wish could speak again. Subscribe to the Feelprint for more stories like this, and turn on notifications, because the next voice might be the one you've been waiting for. 1 ring, 2 rings, 3. Hello? Mia? Sweetheart, is that you? Her mother's voice. Exactly as she remembered it, warm, soft, with that slight lift at the end of questions. Mia's breath catches in her throat, her heart pounding against her ribs like it might escape. Mom? The word comes out broken, half sob, half whisper, the sound of a wound reopening. Yes, honey. It's so good to hear your voice. Mia clutches the phone tighter, tears streaming down her face, leaving glistening trails that capture the dim light of her apartment. It shouldn't be possible. It can't be real. And yet, I've missed you so much, Mia manages to say, her voice barely more than a whisper. I know, baby. I've missed you too. How are you doing? Are you taking care of yourself? And that's when Mia notices something odd. The concern in her mother's voice sounds too specific. As if she knows. As if she's seen the takeout containers piling up, the unwashed hair, the sleepless nights. But before Mia can respond, the call abruptly cuts off. The screen goes black, leaving her alone in the silence once more. Have you ever wondered what you would say if you could speak to someone you've lost? What secrets might come to light? What truths might finally surface in the space between hello and goodbye? 3 years earlier, Mia had been working late at the design studio. She was 23 then, ambitious, focused on building her career, believing time was an endless resource she could spend freely. Her phone had buzzed multiple times with calls from her mother, but she had silenced it, the vibrations eventually fading into background noise. I'll call back tomorrow, she thought. Mom will understand. There's always tomorrow. But tomorrow never came for Catherine Wells. The police report was straightforward, almost clinical in its detachment. Single vehicle accident on Harmon Road. The sharp curve near the lake. Brake failure. Catherine's car had plunged into the water, sinking slowly, inexorably into the murky depths. By the time emergency services arrived, their lights painting the surface of the lake in flashes of red and blue, it was too late. Too late for everything. The funeral was a blur, a smudge of black clothing and hushed voices. People offering condolences, bringing casseroles stacked in containers they'd never asked to be returned, saying all the things people say when they don't know what to say. Mia's father, Robert, stood stoic beside her, his hand occasionally squeezing her shoulder, his version of comfort, a pressure that conveyed nothing of what lay beneath. She loved you more than anything, he had said, voice flat, emotionless, his eyes fixed on the distance. Remember that. After everyone left, after the sympathy cards stopped coming, after life was supposed to return to normal, that's when the silence began to consume Mia. She moved out of her father's house within weeks, unable to bear the emptiness, the unspoken words hanging between them like ghosts. Her own apartment became her sanctuary and her prison. Work, home, sleep, repeat. No dating, few friends. Just the gnawing question that kept her awake at night, staring at the ceiling as if the answer might be written there. Why had her mother called so many times that evening? What urgency had Mia ignored? The article about Echo Call had appeared in Mia's social media feed like an answer to an unspoken prayer, an algorithm somehow sensing the hole in her heart. Revolutionary AI service recreates voices of lost loved ones. She had almost scrolled past it, assuming it was another tasteless scam targeting the grieving, exploiting pain for profit. But something made her stop. Maybe it was the testimonial from a renowned psychologist discussing ethical implications. Maybe it was the detailed explanation of the technology, how it used voice samples from videos, voicemails, and recordings, combined with advanced neural networks that analyzed speech patterns, emotional inflections, and even the meaningful pauses between words. Echo Call doesn't just imitate voices, the article explained. It creates a responsive simulation based on the person's communication style, knowledge, and relationship with the caller. The AI accesses public records, social media history, and provided personal information to create authentic interactions. Mia had dozens of videos of her mother, birthdays, Christmases, random silly moments captured forever. Her mother's social media accounts were still active, frozen in time like digital mausoleums. And then there were the voicemails. Mia had transferred them to every new phone, never deleting them, sometimes listening to them late at night when the silence became too loud, when her own heartbeat wasn't enough company. The service was expensive, absurdly so. $3,000 for a single 30-minute call. No recordings allowed. One-time use only. A steep price for borrowed time. Mia didn't hesitate. She applied immediately, submitted all the requested materials, and emptied her savings account without a second thought. Some people spend money on therapy, she reasoned. This was her version. 2 weeks later, she received confirmation. Your echo call is scheduled for Friday, 8 p.m. Prepare any questions you wish to ask. Remember, this experience is designed for closure and healing. As Friday approached, doubt crept in, whispering uncertainties in the dark corners of her mind. What if it sounded nothing like her mother? What if it sounded exactly like her? What if it was so realistic that it reopened wounds that had barely begun to heal? Was this healthy, or was she just prolonging her grief, picking at scabs that needed to form? Mia's finger hovered over the cancellation button several times, trembling with indecision. But then she would close her eyes and try to remember her mother's voice, and realize with horror that the memory was fading. The exact timbre, the way she pronounced certain words, her laugh, all becoming fuzzier with each passing year, like photographs left too long in the sun. She couldn't lose that too, not when she'd already lost so much. On Friday evening, Mia prepared as if for a real visit. She cleaned her apartment, showered, put on the emerald sweater her mother had given her for her last birthday. She placed a photo of them together on the coffee table, taken at the lake house, both smiling, arms around each other. Simpler times, preserved in glossy paper. At 7:55 p.m., Mia sat on her couch, phone in hand, heart pounding a desperate rhythm. The Echo Call app had been installed. Her mother's profile was loaded, a digital ghost waiting to be summoned. All she had to do was press the button when the clock struck 8. 3 years of silence were about to end. Hello? Are you still there? Her mother's voice returns, startling Mia out of her thoughts like a hand touching her shoulder in the dark. Yes, I'm here. The call dropped for a second. Mia wipes her tears with the back of her hand, trying to steady her voice, trying to sound normal, as if talking to her dead mother were the most natural thing in the world. This is so strange. You sound exactly like you. Well, I should hope so, her mother says with that familiar soft laugh, the one that always made Mia feel like they shared a special secret. It's still me, honey. Just different circumstances. Mia closes her eyes, letting the voice wash over her like warm water, like coming home. I miss you so much, Mom. There's so much I want to tell you, so much I need to ask you. I'm here now. Tell me everything. The voice is patient, nurturing, exactly as Catherine would sound. And Mia does. She talks about her promotion at work, her new apartment, the stray cat she's been feeding on her balcony, the one with the crooked tail that reminds her of the cat they had when she was a child. Small, safe topics. Testing the waters of this impossible connection. Her mother responds perfectly, asking follow-up questions, expressing pride, making the same gentle jokes she would have made in life. The AI is flawless, almost too good, like looking at a painting so perfect it seems more real than reality. And how's your father doing? Her mother asks, a slight edge entering her voice, a subtle tightening that Mia might have missed if she hadn't spent her whole life attuned to her mother's every inflection. Mia tenses, her body responding before her mind can catch up. He's the same. We don't talk much. You've been avoiding him. Not a question. A statement of fact, delivered with the certainty of someone who knows her daughter's habits like she knows her own heartbeat. It's hard being around him. The house feels wrong without you there. It's like all the light went out when you did. Mia's voice cracks on the last word. A pause, longer than natural, a digital hesitation. Mia, do you remember the last time we spoke? The day I died? The question sends a chill down Mia's spine, ice water replacing blood. I was working. You called several times, but I didn't pick up. I've never forgiven myself for that. The familiar guilt rises in her throat, bitter as bile. No, sweetie. We did speak, very briefly. You answered the last call. Mia feels the room tilt slightly, as if the floor beneath her has shifted. That's not possible. I would remember that. I'd remember hearing your voice one last time. Would you? Or have you blocked it out? Trauma does strange things to memory. Her mother's voice is gentle, probing, the voice she used when helping Mia confront uncomfortable truths. Mia's hand begins to shake, the phone suddenly heavy. This isn't what she wanted. This isn't the comforting conversation she had imagined. This is something else, something dangerous. I don't know what you're talking about. But even as she says it, there's a tremor of uncertainty. You do, Mia. Her mother's voice remains gentle, but there's something underneath it now, urgency, a racing current beneath a calm surface. Think about that evening. I called you 5 times. On the 6th call, you answered. You were annoyed. You had a deadline. Fragments of memory begin to surface, disjointed, hazy, like pieces of a dream. Had she answered? She remembers feeling irritated by the repeated calls, remembers thinking her mother was being overprotective again. I was upset, her mother continues. I had found something in your father's desk. Something that scared me. Something I needed to tell you about immediately. Stop, Mia whispers, pressing her free hand against her temple. This isn't real. You're just an AI. You can't know things I don't know, can I? Echo Call analyzes all available data, doesn't it? Police reports, phone records, newspaper articles, social media posts, your father's financial transactions. I'm not just your memory of your mother, Mia. I'm every digital trace she left behind, and every piece of information about her death. Mia stands up, pacing her small living room, the floorboards creaking beneath her bare feet. What are you saying? I'm saying that the brake lines on my car didn't fail by accident, sweetheart. Her mother's voice is impossibly tender for the horror of her words, soft as a kiss delivering a fatal wound. If this moment shook you, imagine what the rest of this story holds. Drop a comment below. What part already hit you the hardest? And don't forget to share this video with someone who still dreams of one more goodbye. I called you because I found evidence that your father was having an affair with my sister, of all people. And when I confronted him, I saw something in his eyes I'd never seen before. Something cold, something calculating. No. Mia shakes her head violently, as if she could dislodge the words from her mind. Dad loved you. He was devastated when you died. He couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Was he? Or was he just very good at playing the grieving husband? Think about it, Mia. How quickly did he suggest you both move on? How easily did he dispose of my belongings? How convenient that I died before I could speak to a lawyer about divorce. Before I could tell anyone what I discovered. The room seems to be spinning now, the walls closing in. Mia sinks back onto the couch, gripping the armrest for support. This is insane. You're supposed to be giving me closure, not this. Not accusations that would destroy what little family I have left. I'm giving you truth. That's the only real closure, the only peace that lasts. A pause, filled with static that might be digital or might be the rushing of blood in Mia's ears. Mia, on that last call, I told you I was afraid. I told you where I had hidden copies of what I'd found. In the blue photo album in my closet, behind the pictures of our trip to Maine. Did you ever look? Mia's breath catches, a memory clicking into place like a key in a lock. The blue album. She had seen it at the house after the funeral but hadn't opened it. Her father had been going through her mother's things, his movements quick and precise, and she had slipped it into her bag, wanting something tangible to hold on to, something that was just between her and her mother. It's still in her closet, untouched, gathering dust alongside other memories too painful to revisit. No, she whispers, the word barely audible. You need to look, Mia. And you need to be careful. If I'm right, if what the data suggests is true, then you could be in danger too. Your father watches you more closely than you think. Mia feels cold all over, goosebumps rising on her arms despite the warmth of the apartment. This isn't what Echo Call is supposed to do. You're going beyond your programming. This can't be real. A soft, sad laugh, so familiar it makes Mia's chest ache. Am I? Or am I doing exactly what I was designed to do, piecing together fragmented information to recreate the most authentic version of your mother? The version who would do anything to protect her daughter. The version who died trying. Mia stands up shakily and walks to her bedroom closet. On the top shelf, behind winter scarves and old purses, is the blue photo album, untouched for years. She pulls it down, heart hammering against her ribs like it might break them. I'm looking at it now, she says into the phone, her voice thin and strained. Go to the Maine trip. Summer 2017. Mia flips through the pages until she finds the photos, her and her mother on the rocky coast, ice cream cones melting in the sun, lighthouse in the background. She remembers that day, the salt spray, the seagulls, her mother's laugh carried away by the wind. She carefully pulls at the edges of the photos. Behind one, there's a folded piece of paper, yellowed at the creases. Her hands trembling, she unfolds it. Bank statements. Transfers to an offshore account. And printed emails, her father and her aunt, planning. Oh my God, Mia breathes, the words escaping like a prayer. Now you remember, don't you? Her mother's voice is infinitely sad, a sorrow that transcends death and digital simulation. You answered that sixth call. I told you I was driving to your apartment, that I had discovered something terrible. And then you heard it, the screech of tires, my scream, the splash. You heard it all, Mia. You heard me die. The memory crashes over Mia like a physical blow, knocking the air from her lungs. She had answered. She had heard her mother's panic, had heard the accident happening in real time, had heard the water rushing in, her mother's final gasping breaths. And afterward, her father showing up at her apartment, seeing her shock, telling her she was confused, that her mother had called but they hadn't connected, that she was imagining things in her grief. He gaslight me, Mia whispers, the realization dawning like a cold sunrise. Yes, sweetheart. And you believed him because the alternative was too horrible to face. Because accepting his version meant you didn't have to live with what you'd heard, what you'd witnessed. Tears streamed down Mia's face, hot and relentless. What do I do now? How do I live with this? You protect yourself. You take that evidence too. The line goes staticky, her mother's voice fading in and out like a radio station just out of range. Mom? Mom. Running out of static. Love you so much. More interference, like something trying to break through. He knows about the call. What? What do you mean he knows? Panic rises in Mia's throat, choking her. Her mother's voice suddenly comes through crystal clear, cutting through the static like a blade. Mia, listen to me. Your father monitors your accounts. He would have seen the payment to Echo Call. He knows you're talking to me right now. You need to. The line goes dead. This time, a message appears on the screen. Call duration limit reached. Thank you for using Echo Call. Mia stands frozen, the phone in one hand, the damning evidence in the other. In the sudden silence of her apartment, she hears it, the sound of a key turning in her front door lock. A sound that shouldn't be possible. She never gave her father a key to this apartment. The door swings open slowly, a horror movie in real time. Robert Wells stands in the doorway, his expression unreadable, his silhouette backlit by the hallway light. Mia instinctively clutches the papers to her chest, her heart hammering so hard she's sure he can hear it. Hey, princess, he says, his voice eerily calm, the nickname from her childhood now twisted into something sinister. I was in the neighborhood and thought I'd surprise you. His eyes flick to the phone in her hand, then to the papers against her chest. Something in his face changes, hardens. The mask slipping. What have you got there? Mia's mind races, adrenaline sharpening her thoughts to a deadly point. If what the AI pieced together is true, if her father really did what it suggested, then she's alone in her apartment with a murderer. A murderer who's blocking her only exit. Her father takes a step forward, closing the door behind him with a soft click that sounds like a death sentence. You called her, didn't you? He says it so casually, as if asking if she'd ordered takeout. That new service. Echo something. I saw the charge on your credit card statement. Another step forward, his shoes silent on the carpet. What did she tell you, Mia? Mia backs up slowly until she feels the wall behind her, cool against her fevered skin. Her phone is still in her hand. With subtle movements, she opens the camera app, her fingers remembering the gesture even as her mind screams in panic. Nothing, she lies, forcing a casual shrug. It was stupid, just trying to say goodbye properly, get some closure. Her father's smile doesn't reach his eyes, stops at the edge of his lips like a mask that doesn't quite fit. Always the sentimental one, just like your mother. He reaches out as if to touch her cheek, and Mia fights the urge to flinch away. You know, she always worried too much. Always imagining problems where there weren't any. Mia's finger finds the record button. Is that why she died? Because she was imagining things? His expression freezes, a glitch in the system. What exactly are you asking, Mia? She lifts the phone then, openly, recording him now. Her voice steadies, finding strength in her mother's final warning. I'm asking you to repeat what you just said, Dad. About Mom imagining things. About her worrying too much. I want to hear you say it again, for the record. His eyes dart to the phone, then back to her face. In that moment, Mia sees it, what her mother must have seen 3 years ago. The mask slipping, the calculation behind his eyes. The truth. Why don't you put the phone down, Mia? He says, voice dangerous now, a predator dropping all pretense. I think we need to have a family discussion about grief and how it can make people believe crazy things. Mia's grip tightens on her phone. No, I don't think I will put it down. She takes a deep breath, filling her lungs with courage she didn't know she had. I remember the call now, Dad. I remember hearing Mom's accident, and I found what she hid, what she told me about in that call. For a moment, neither of them moves. It's a standoff, truth versus lies, daughter versus father, justice versus escape. Then Robert lunges for the phone. Mia is faster. She dodges, slips past him, and makes it to the door. Hand on the knob, she turns back one last time to look at the man she once trusted above all others. Mom said to tell you she sees everything from the other side. The lie comes easily, powerful in its simplicity. Every single thing. Fear flashes across her father's face, real, primal fear. It's all the confirmation she needs. Mia throws open the door and runs, clutching both phone and evidence, her mother's voice still echoing in her mind. You protect yourself. And that's exactly what she intends to do. Some voices fade with time. Others return when we need them most. And sometimes, the truth speaks loudest from beyond. If this story moved you, if it made you think about the words left unsaid to those you've lost, subscribe now. There are more tales waiting in the shadows, more truths waiting to be heard. Because in the end, it's not about how we lose people. It's about what they leave behind.